So I'm down in the quarry now, and I was getting ready to, make the other videos about my fidget things, and I wanted to set up my other camera, which is actually my old phone here that you see in front of you. And I brought my other tripod, but I didn't bring a tripod mount for it. So I was really proud of this. Check this out. I took a stick, I carved a sharp end on that end, and I found one with a Y in it, and I wrapped it pretty good with a smaller twig. I'm going to go shove it in the ground over there on the other side of this little pond, point it in this direction, and resume what I planned on doing. Haha! Let's see how this works. Hey everybody, I'm out at the campsite on another Saturday evening, beautiful Saturday evening. Kind of hoping for some thunderstorms later this evening. We'll see how it happens. But I'm out here and I thought, something fun to do would be to discuss all the mechanical pieces or mechanical magnetic hybrid pieces that I have. And I'm just going to go through those and sort of just talk a little bit about each one of them. I have a few on the way we might talk about. Might talk about a few that I don't have, but stick around. So I think we're just going to start out. These are kind of laid out in the order that I got them, which is kind of close to the order they came out in, maybe. Anyhow, no particular order. But this is the CP2, and it's part mechanical, part magnetic, and I just never really appreciated it before, at least not the magnetic portion of it. Now I really appreciate it. But overall, this one doesn't get a lot of use just because it's so long and gangly. But there's a great early design that incorporated a mechanical. I'm going to call this mechanical. It's a Gambit by Billet Spin. There's nothing magnetic about it, and there is a spring. Not that spring is a requirement, but if you look in here, there's a spring on the inside that enables it to be a capture device for this little coin, and you can buy all different sorts of coins for it. But I figured that counts as mechanical. You can get those. He makes different versions of those. You know what? Maybe I'll just throw some pictures up here. But I think he has, it's the same concept. This coin comes out. What this is a golf ball marker. So you would like fidget with this, and if you needed to mark your ball, you'd pop it out and put it down there on the ground there and do your golfing thing, and then, come back and put your ball back, I guess, where that was. But there, I put it in upside down. You can only see it's upside down. I have a blank in. You can only see that it's upside down because of the wear mark there, that little circle that's about 1.5 centimeters round. Just comes from rubbing on this edge right here. But yeah, these are fun. And you can get it with a flat. I have it with a flat bottom, but you can get it with a concave. I think a convex, and if not a convex, then it comes with a ball in the middle so that it can be like a table spinner. But there's other inserts that are also that act like a top. So if you had the concave version of this, you could pop out the coin piece, which is actually a top, and then flip it over and then spin your top on it like that. At least that's my understanding. So this is the CP5. I was talking about the CPX the other day on my general update. I think it was general update number 3, but the CPX, I don't have one, I don't plan on getting one, but they went from the CP2 down here to the CP3, which I did not bring, and they skipped CP4 because 4 is an unlucky number. They went to CP5. That's what this one is, and it is entirely mechanical. And this was another early mechanical model, but we weren't really distinguishing the difference between mechanical and magnetic back then, and nobody was really appreciating the subtle differences. And now this is another favorite of mine back in service. This uses, now I've done a review on this, I think. If I haven't, I will be, just to show you how to take it apart and everything. But this uses ball plungers, not springs and balls, but ball plungers, which I like very much. So these two are actually the same thing. The top B slider from Metal Toys DZ, and one has the standard plate and the other one has the dense plate, or what they call the Z plate and the ZZ plate. So this one is just a few clicks. That's the Z plate, I believe. And I recently took these apart from, I had them both. You have to buy two of these if you want to make the sandwich. If you have the brass piece to make up the middle, then you can buy two of these and put all the parts together and make a sandwich. But I didn't like it very much. Gave it away. And I put these two back together recently. So, yeah, I'm not too fond of this one. I don't like that Z plate. But I have come to enjoy the ZZ plate. I can actually just do one side of that if I like. So I do like that. I had trouble getting this up to this point, though. In fact, the only reason this works as well as it does is because my... Did I bring it? I didn't bring it. Yes, I did. 01 EDC came with extra, what are we going to call those? Brass caps. So I had springs for this, and I had balls for this, but I didn't have those little brass caps. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. It helps, too. It makes the, it compresses the spring. There's only so much room between these two pieces to fit a spring and a ball, and the little brass cap helps compress the spring just a little bit more. I also think it holds that ball better because it's cup-shaped, a little concave dip in that little brass cap, and it holds the ball better against the divots, the track of divots. And I think it made all the difference in the world. This one does not have any brass caps in it. It's just 4 balls, 4 springs. And that may improve, if I can get my hands on some of those little brass caps. We'll see. So that's the story with those two. Then, chronologically, I don't know how accurate this is, but this is sort of next. It's the top D. Now, the top C, like I said, these two are top B. If there was ever a top A, I'd like someone to tell me what it was. But those are top B. Then there's a top C, which is a coin. And then this is the top D, the deep fried dough stick. Entirely mechanical. And mine is stainless steel. I took off the, it came with a transparent adhesive slide protector, what do you call it, on one of these sides. I believe it was this side. And I took that off right away because I just don't like, at the time I was anti-everything tape. And I'm glad I took it off, actually. This does not seem to need that, as most of my friction, anything involving friction, doesn't necessarily need Teflon tape, but sometimes Teflon tape saves the day. So this is now available. I'm not going to, yeah, I will. This is available in PEI, also known as Ultim. Just came out. Also came out with, they came out after this, it was made in zirconium, I think, only, and it had this zipper function. So when you got to this position, this piece here would slide back and forth. I know I just talked about this in the last video. I don't want to bore you, but yeah, and I won't even bring up that picture again. This is about, this video is supposed to be about these guys. What I was going to do is show you a picture of the Ultim version of this that just came out, but I'll just remind you that the Ultim version does not operate like this. It operates like just back and forth. That's all it does. But it has many more divots, so it should be much more dense, much more of a dense feel. And of course, being Ultim, it will have I'm sure, astounding haptics and acoustics. So it'll be interesting to see that. Just came out. Now we'll do the second row. This one, again, it's kind of a stretch, but I thought, hey, it is mechanical. These are the little $6, $7, $8 coins that you can get on AliExpress from a lot of various vendors. I love it to death. I found out, though, that if you try to use it too hard and you get a little too rough with it, I imagine over time it tends to collapse and want to stay like this, would pop down and stay popped down. So what I did is pop it apart. It does come apart. There's a video about that. You should go back and watch. But these inside parts are just press fit in. Everything slides out. And what I did was I took some small round adhesive foam pieces and stacked them up in the middle here. It was very easy to do. Anybody could do it. And there you go, a $6, $7 stainless steel fidget. And hopefully it'll last. It has not failed me since I've done that. And hopefully it'll last a long, long time. This is another one that turned on my dad. So yeah, I think that counts. This one, I sort of forgot about this being a mechanical hybrid. It's the UUZHEDC, which I've been told translates to the Matrix. And there it's kind of a different spelling, strange. I'm number 67. This is stainless, I think it's just stainless steel. It might be the one with titanium plates on it, I'm not sure, or the body, I can't remember at all. I would have gone the least expensive, which was stainless, whatever option that was. So this thing is like really complicated, and I did a video all about it, explaining every way that they recommend you to put it together for different responses. And I have it set up right now for the one which I think gives you the most options. It gives you the most, you move this in one direction and all of a sudden it works like this. You move it all the way down in the front, and now it stays down there until you give it a little bit of a go. And then the other option is to put it up in the middle like that, and then you'll have some nice back and forth action. And then from this side, if you're just holding this side down on the back, you can just move this back and forth to your heart's content. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 clicks. And that's mechanical. This side is reacting magnetically, but this side is reacting both mechanically and magnetically. Let's just pop one of these sides off. I think I can do that fairly well. I think this is another one where it has to be right in the middle. You have to be careful. We're not going to take all these apart, but just so you realize it is mechanical and magnetic. So what we're seeing here is 4-track 4-ball slider. It's the same on the other side. So you've got like 2 4-track 4-ball sliders. Then you have these magnets, and that's the part you can change. You see how you can unscrew the screws and put them in different holes, and that some of those holes are empty. That's the setup that I chose that was the best for me. Anyhow, the part that you don't see is the mechanical part, and it's right here, and right here we're seeing the back side of 2 plunger balls, and I can show you that from the front if we can get it apart without too much trouble. Yeah, I think we can. So here you go. There, right there is the top of a ball plunger, and there's the top of the other ball plunger. You could even take those out if you wanted to. But very complicated. But like I said, I covered in a video, I covered all the different ways to do it. I took it apart and showed you how to do it. So that one might be worth looking into if you haven't thought about it yet. All right, let's move to the next one. This is the SP Mini, or the Mini SP by Gal Studio. I've talked about it a lot of times before now. It's fairly new. I mean, I haven't had it that long. Stainless steel, 2 clicky buttons. It's a lot like the magnetic. Did I bring it with me? I did. This came along first. This is just a 4-track 4-ball magnetic slider, and this is the SPA, the Gal SPA in stainless. See if we can get a nice reflection on that. Gal Studio. So this was pretty expensive when it came out. I wouldn't pay that for it now. Like I said in another video, I think it's just there's too many advancements that have been made since this came out. When this was out, it was new. Anyhow, I wouldn't do that now, especially considering this was just a little bit more, and it's much more complex, much more advanced. Gal Studios is really advanced, in my opinion. And I did a review on this one too. If you're curious, you could go into the details, take it apart. But again, it's what's the best way to do it? I believe it's this way. It's a 4-track, 4-ball slider with magnets, and you'll see there the ball plunger right here. And you can either put 2 in or put 1 in like I did. 2 just makes everything more pronounced. I think it works best with 1. I also think oftentimes a lot of these sliders work better with these nylon balls. They're softer, they absorb some of the sound and the impact. Anyhow, if you push it one way, it's a little easier to go, and the other way, definitely more rigid. And to achieve that sound, you can't just hold it in your hand. You have to learn how to hold it and grip it from the sides. I talked about that a lot in the last video. I won't get into that again, but very interesting piece. Then this came out pretty recently, so it's not in order with anything else, but this is the Gal Studios version of the same thing, but in PC or polycarbonate. And I'll show you something they missed out on, an opportunity here. And actually, I didn't think of it. Somebody else had told me they should have done that, or was it possible? And I said they didn't do it, and I thought the idea was great, and that I might do it myself. So this one, same principle. You push it one way. The pendant side, there's a place to put a pendant hole or a hole for a pendant attachment. You get 4 rigid clicks, and in this direction you get 4 very soft clicks. Now this one's constructed just a little bit differently. It's only actually mechanical for these 4 loud clicks. In the other direction, it's just mechanical, or magnetic, sorry. So it's mechanical in this direction, magnetic in this direction. And you can take out, again, it's a 4-track, 4-ball slider. You can take out the ball plunger, which is right here, altogether. And then it behaves like a soft glide, like it does when you push it in the one direction. It's soft, the other direction it's rough. It's sort of soft the whole way. And the fellow that I talked with about this said, he prefers to keep it like that, but he'd like to have that ball plunger handy. Well, they could have made it so that you just slide that out. I'll show you something here. There's this odd black tab on the back. And as far as I can tell, it was their decorative way to cover up. This is injection molded, it's not machined. So if you have to know a little bit about injection molding, but when the plastic is liquid, it gets pushed under high pressure into a mold cavity, and it has to enter that mold cavity somewhere. That's what this little hole is right here, and that's called the gate, or the sprue or something. Gate, I think, is the right term. But they wanted to cover that up, and it might have had to do something with machining a hole for this as well. That's the back of the ball plunger that we're seeing right there. But say you took the ball plunger out, well, you could have had a place to store it by just flipping the ball plunger over. So now the ball sticks out this side a little bit, but it would be flush on the inside. It wouldn't be in the way anymore. It wouldn't be part of the gameplay, so to speak. But now the ball would stick up just a little bit. See how it's nice and flush right now? If I can focus on it. It's sort of flush with this inside surface. The ball would stick up just a little bit there. And all you would have to do, you see this piece just pops back down on there like that. All you would have to do is machine a little indentation right here so that the spring wouldn't be pushed, the ball wouldn't be pushed down. It would just like be a little cavity for it. And then you'd have it stored in there upside down, out of the way. This would help prevent it from popping apart and falling out. And when you looked at it from this side, you would just see the ball plunger flipped backwards. You'd see the flat side, and it would be flush with this surface. So they missed an opportunity there, and I don't really have access to a milling machine, that's the problem. But I do have a good drill press, and I may piss around and just see if I can't. These were pretty cheap, but it's like 25 bucks, I'll bet. I don't want to ruin one, but I would like to do that just for fun, just to see what it's like. And this one was just like, this was like my eye-opener into the world of mechanical. Like I had these, you know, these have been around for a long time. I didn't think much of them. And then people started to say, oh, does that have magnets in it or not? And that kind of caught my ear. And then I saw it was Gavin over on Dynamic Inertia, his YouTube channel. And he did a review on this. It's the 1 pal. Mine is in stainless steel. I'm pretty sure mine was used. I got it from a guy on AliExpress. But it turned out to be a good deal. It worked out good. He gave me both. He gave me the Teflon plate for free. It came with the stainless steel plate as well. When I say that, I mean the middle piece, the insert. And I did not care for that at all. It was too sticky. Definitely Teflon for me. Initially, I thought this was pretty heavy. Well, it is heavy in the hand. And I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. And especially, I don't know, in this position, I consider this to be the bottom. So I'm holding it with the bottom down. And I wasn't so sure I liked it that way. And I just found out that this particular one, they're not all like this. It's like this one in particular. I like to use it upside down. It seems to, this side, in this case, I think this side has more mass to it. This side has some stuff machined out of it, you know, and this side has a little bit more weight to it, and it helps it drop down a little bit more. Gravity helps it work better. And when it comes to a stop, there's more mass coming to a stop. It's more satisfying. So the 1 pal is a awesome piece. It would be great, I think, to find out what this is like in titanium. I'm sure Ultim is fantastic, but I don't care to get this in Ultim. I don't think it's. I have this, and I'm quite happy with this. So that is it for the second row. Now we will go on to the third row. So this is the 01 EDC mechanical. Make sure that's in focus. And like I said in the last video, if you're not aware, I did a video review on this, so you should look at that for the details, but it only goes that far in that direction. It goes twice as far in the other direction. I have the dense, what they call the dense pattern. The other is the standard, what they call the standard pattern. And it's less dense. I'm glad I got this pattern. I didn't know that you could get it in the different patterns. But this one is just probably the best. At least the best as far as one that has that dense pattern. Very satisfying. Very, very different. Very happy with this one. And like I said, I think in the last video, at least my update thing, this is coming out now. This is a 3-level, but 01 EDC is going to make an affordable option, quote unquote affordable, 50 bucks a piece. This was a lot more than that. But they're going to be 2-level, so 2-level sliders. And there's going to be one, they look just like this on the outside. When you're looking down, they look like a top view of them. They might be a little bit wider. I'm not sure if the dimensions are the same, but they look a lot like this. But it's a 2-level slider. They're both mechanical. And like I said, like this, one comes with the dense pattern and one comes with the standard pattern. And they'll be like 50 bucks a pop. There's a pre-sale for them. I didn't want to wait. I want to wait and see how they end up actually, you know, performing. See some review videos before I buy one. I'm sure it's going to be on AliExpress too. Hopefully. So we'll see about that. But this, yeah, this is a winner, a real nice one. Stainless steel again. Then I found this. I love this one. It's upside down, kind of, sort of. I prefer to hold it like this being the bottom. And the middle piece on mine this is just like the rest of it. It's Ultim, clear. Not really clear though. It's got sort of a sanded finish to it. I don't know what kind of, I don't know how they did that, but it's not polished. It's not transparent. It's semi-transparent, we'll say. But you'll see this sold a lot on AliExpress now with the Teflon plate in the middle. Although on this one, I don't know that you really need it because it works so well. Now the one that that's getting a lot of attention right now is the YEDC Pig Nose Ultim mechanical, and it's about the same size as this, but it has these fancy face plates that screw on with 4 screws. And then it has like this has 2 rows of divots and 2 balls and 2 springs. Theirs has 3 rows. There's a row down the middle and then a row on each side. So you figure there's more modularity there. You could try different things. You don't necessarily have to, like, you could put I wouldn't want to at this one, but if I wanted to, I could put just 1 ball and 1 spring in it. But this one's best with 2, I think. And this one is much less expensive than the YEDC Pig Nose Ultim. And there's a pendant attachment should you ever want to carry it from your neck. This one, I couldn't resist. I told the story behind this recently, but there was another slider, a magnetic slider that I really wanted in the same G10 material. And it is a standard pattern, kind of, sort of. You can buy this in blocks. Like if you're a knife maker, I suppose you might want to buy this and use it to make some scales for your knives. But G10, basically fiberglass, it's just fantastically smooth and quiet. And I've been carrying this at work a lot. Now the last couple of days, the cashew has taken over all my attention. But this was right behind it, and it still is going to be too. It's pretty to look at, keeps my mood up, you know. Silly as that sounds, I've said it before. I wish there was more orange on this one, and I think I bought the last one. But they do have these in red and black, same sort of pattern, but red and black, and hopefully they'll come out with some more. Love this one, ball and spring, 1 ball and spring in the middle, with a Teflon middle piece. And there was no other option with that. It just came with that Teflon one. Then these two, kind of out of order, but this one came first. This is the Ultim unknown maker Haptic coin. And it has a place for 3 balls and 3 springs. I find that it works best for me with just 1 ball and 1 spring. This one gets louder with more balls and springs, but not really more difficult to turn. It's still very easy to turn. So it just gets louder and louder, I think, and that's why I just kept 1 ball in it. But, you know, it's similar to the Top C, but again, I believe it to be different enough. It is very inexpensive. I forget what I paid for it, but very cool. This is my first, well, I guess it's my second mechanical, because that would be the first piece of Ultim that I have that's mechanical, and this would be the second. But it's my first, it might be my first mechanical coin. I think that might be the case. Either way, I love this thing. Accuracy, it just, nothing like magnets. Nothing, any of these things are nothing like magnets. Then not long after that, this came out, and it might be made by the same company. It's like the same thing on the inside. This even has the same number of divots, which I believe was 14, I think. And this one's in stainless steel. They make this available in zirconium for more, of course. But this is like a sandblasted stainless steel. It's heavier, and I don't like this as much. I have 2 balls and 2 springs. It's just like the Ultim one. You could put 3 balls and 3 springs. But then it got to be this one. When you add springs and balls, it actually gets harder to turn and not much louder. So what it does there is, what I'm saying is, it mostly affects how hard it is to spin. And I think 2 balls worked best in this for me, 2 balls and 2 springs. But I'm kind of spoiled by that Ultim one right there. But again, very affordable, very interesting, very affordable, very interesting. Then the cashew came. And I'm just thrilled with this. Maybe it's because I'm still in the honeymoon phase. But highly modifiable. Not highly modifiable, but very modifiable. You can put either 2 ball plungers in this, or 2 springs and 2 balls. Or you can put, if you have them, 3 ball plungers, or 3 balls and 3 springs, or you could do a combination of any of those. There's 3 open cavities in there for you to do what you want with. Now the problem is, this Gal Studio mechanical cashew did not come with any extra parts, just what you need. So it came with the springs, 2 balls and 2 springs as your haptic mechanism, and then the 2 ball plungers were in a little plastic baggie, and I ended up going with 1 ball plunger in the very end. I did have it set up with 2 springs and 2 balls. The balls that come with this are glass, and it was my first encounter with glass balls, and I don't like it. I didn't like them at all. They just, everything about them sounded scratchy. So there's 2 balls right in here, and you need to watch the video I just did about this if you really want to know the details. But those 2 balls, I call them the friction balls, and they ride in these 2 tracks here. And I immediately changed mine to nylon, and it made a world of difference. Then the other two springs and balls are what give you the haptic sensation going over these divots, and that's where you can really experiment and try different kind of balls. I didn't have any other springs to play with, but I had their 4mm balls, so that's sort of a standard for most of us. And if you have the black ones or the white ones or the nylon ones, or glass ones, you can change them out and see what works best for you. For me, this ended up being, I believe, stainless steel balls. And the trick with this one is just learning how to hold it. I'm sure there's a million ways to do it. For me, this is the way. Because, again, you need to squeeze it a little bit in order to control how fast it closes. Some people are just going to do this all day, and it won't matter. And you can hold it in all sorts of different ways and do that. It won't matter. But for me, I need to hold it like this. I prefer to keep the bottom side on the bottom. I think that the insert on this one is black. Could be Delron, or Delron, whatever that is. I don't think it's like a black Teflon, just because when I had it taken apart, it's pretty rigid. It's not flexible. I could give you a better profile with that. It's not flexible. If it was Teflon, it really would have been flexible. We have some Teflon parts at work as well, but I just have a feeling, that's not Teflon. Either way, it's working out just fine. It's not really sticking, and I've been putting this thing through its paces. So, yeah, I really, really like this thing. I like the shape. I like the size. I like how well it works. I like its modifiability. And, that's about all I can say about that. And there's another one that I'm very interested in. I'm just not so sure about it yet. Now if you're familiar with this was called the Gal Rifle, I believe. And we're up to version 4 now. I believe this is version 2. I'm not sure what version 1 ever looked like, or what it did, or what was different about it. But this one you can identify by its single lanyard hole. This mine's stainless steel. It's magnetic. I just didn't care for it too much. You have to put a lanyard on this thing, I think, or it was just virtually impossible to hold and manipulate. But overall, it is interesting, and I had some other issues with it. This is something that deserves its own video, just for historical, just for reference purposes, like for other people that want to take it apart and maybe run into problems, and I'll do that eventually. But yeah, there's a mechanical version of this now, and it's the version 4, and you can identify it. Now, it's like I said, this is version 2. Version 3 has instead of a round lanyard hole, it has a single oval slot. That's number 3. Number 4, the new one, the mechanical one, has a little round lanyard hole like this on this side, or the other side, and a oval hole. So there's an oval hole and a small round hole on the bottom. That is version 4. That is the mechanical one. So yeah, that's another one that I'm interested in. And there's a few more that aren't worth really bringing up again. I probably talked about them there in my recent general updates video. But yeah, that's kind of what I have my eye on yet right now. The top C I ordered I got a top, they ended up sending me the wrong thing. They sent me another top B, which I did not need or want, but I think they're letting me keep it. And the top C should arrive hopefully maybe next week. Maybe, fingers crossed. We'll see. I think that's it. I just wanted to come out here and enjoy the weather and talk about mechanical stuff. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting and educational. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye.